Alright, welcome back to another SegWeather video looking at your forecast for Thursday, July 23rd of 2026. We're going to go ahead and dive in right away, starting off with the current radar at the moment. We do have some ongoing showers and storms taking place around the mid-Atlantic, looking at those showers and storms ongoing with that cold front moving through at the moment and seeing some of the activity extending into Kansas along that front as well, and even seeing tropical storm Bertha here just to the east of Texas. This will be making its way into the state later on today, so watching that very closely. But other than that, looking mainly quiet elsewhere, especially in the Midwest, Northeast, looking quite nice for you guys today. So no watches or alerts to notify you about for this morning, but it's the West Coast and the South. We have to watch very closely with those heat advisories in place for much of Texas throughout your day today. And also looking at the heat warnings in place for the West Coast as well, with temperature indices up to 105, if not exceeding it. Same thing for the Southwest, watching that very closely as well. And also the pinks here, one here in Idaho, and also maybe a little bit here in Pacific Northwest, watching red flag warnings as well for that area as you progress throughout your day as well. And then flood watch in place for the mid-Atlantic for your day today, and for Wyoming, watching that very closely with some ongoing showers and storms in those areas throughout your course of your Thursday. Now, speaking of rainfall, looking at the excessive rainfall outlook, looking at up to a slight risk up here in parts of Colorado, Kansas, southern Nebraska for those ongoing monsoonal rains taking place, mainly for this area, but for this area is tied to the severe weather taking place later on today. Small area here in southern Texas tied to Tropical Storm Bertha, and then a pretty wide area here tied to the cold front, as it will be stalling in the same areas, bringing in some heavy rainfall throughout the course of your day. So if you are in this region, watching out for some flooding downpours to take place, especially around northeastern North Carolina, and watching that very closely for you guys for today. Now, looking at the wildfire smoke forecast for today, not looking too bad for much of the country, although we do notice that there's a plume stretching down to Texas. This is mainly tied to that cold front, as it's made its way all the way down towards southern Texas, in fact, as with the recent surface map, it does show that it has made its way towards southern Texas. And with that, that does explain why we're seeing an increase of this smoke potential in this area, as that front, it will be pulling in some of the smoke to the south. So watching this in conjunction to that fire in Canada, but this is tied to something else completely different. This is tied to the ongoing wildfires that are taking place around the Pacific Northwest right now. Unfortunately, it's quite strong for these areas, and even some of that in Canada as well. So you guys need to be on high alert for that smoke potential as we head throughout your day today. But looking at your temperatures, looking quite hot temperatures in the 90s to hundreds for mainly the south and west. Temperatures around the west coast reaching the hundreds as well. Southwest around 116, and then even parts of Texas quite hot today, and that will stretch into the deep south. But the Midwest, Northeast looking quite cool today. Temperatures in the 70s, so feeling nice and comfortable for your Thursday. Definitely a day to go outside and enjoy that awesome cooler weather, because it will not last very long, because as we head towards this weekend, this heat ridge pattern, as you see with the upper level map, will make its way towards the east, which is a lot of hot air hanging around the air with this high pressure. And eventually, we do expect that this high pressure to eventually slowly move towards the east. And as it does, we'll see that hotter air come along with it, as it's bringing that hot, dry, sinking air towards the area. But this cooler pattern that's been in place for the last couple of days will slowly but surely start to push away as we head towards the weekend. So watching that very closely, especially later on Sunday and going into Monday of next week. Now, looking at our severe weather threat for today, looking at a small risk for four parts of the country, that being the Pacific Northwest, the parts of the plains into the Rockies, southern parts of Texas, and then the southeastern parts of our country as well. Watching that very closely for your day today. In terms of the threats, tornado risk, nothing to worry about with that. It's the damaging wind risk that will be a potential for today. Looking at that in all four areas where we do have severe weather taking place today, looking up to about 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts being possible with strong storms today. Hail risk not looking too bad, so maybe about a half-inch hail being possible with some of these storms later on today. About well, now looking back to your weather models, looking at your rest of your day today, looking at those shower and storm chances ongoing throughout the Rockies, extending down to the deep south, expecting some of those storms to again impact these areas as well. This area over here is tied to Tropical Storm Bertha, so watching that moving to Texas, more in this in a little bit, and then that cold front moving in through North Carolina, which will increase those chances of storms as we head throughout your day today. But a closer look towards Kansas with the strong storms. We'll see the storms begin to develop this afternoon, become likely this evening, maybe some stronger cells as we head towards nightfall, and eventually a line of storms, as it does look like it could form by tomorrow morning. But it will be limited in its strength as by later Friday morning. Of course, it will break apart as it does encounter some of that drier air as it does move into Missouri. Now back to Tropical Storm Bertha. Right now it has already made landfall in Louisiana, and now it's back in the Gulf. And right now it's getting ready to make a second landfall in southeastern Texas, which will occur by this afternoon. But looking at the models very closely, this is this afternoon going towards this evening. Notice how like it does only bring rainfall to parts of southern Texas, and the main reason for this is due to the fact that we have that cold front sitting right over much of Texas. And if it wasn't for this cold front, the system would have made its way further into Texas. But since it's sitting right over the southeastern parts of Texas, this is acting as a barrier, which is keeping those storms to our south and with to our south for much of Texas. And with that, only the extreme southern part of Texas will be seeing that heavy rainfall, as due to the front sitting right over here, it's going to act as that barrier. So watching that very closely for today. So if you're in Dallas, for example, you guys are fine. But if you're in like Galveston, you guys are not fine, as this system will still bring some heavy rain and some damaging winds to that area throughout the course of your day today. And speaking of this track, as of this morning, again, it was sitting right over southwestern parts of Louisiana, just off the coast, but it will make landfall eventually in southeastern Texas later on this afternoon into this evening as a tropical storm, and then eventually dissipate into a depression by Friday morning, where it will eventually just give up by then, as it will be on land. And with land, it does kill off tropical storms, as with tropical storms, it needs that water to keep going and keep getting stronger. But without without the water, it pretty much the land pretty much kills it. So watching that for later on today and Friday morning. But after Friday morning or so, the system should be done and over with and pretty much gone. But that's pretty much it for today's video. Thank you for enjoying this update. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like. And if you want to see more content like this, don't forget to subscribe to always get updated on the latest videos on this channel. Have a great day and stay weather.